Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. We've made it to the end of another week. As a matter of fact, this is the last Friday in the month of August. Can you believe that? Can you believe that we've already hit the end of August? I'm telling you, this year has just zipped along. Zipped along indeed. Today is the 26th, and we have our sun sign is still where it's been. It's in Virgo. Again, this is the card that represents Virgo. It's the Hermit. It reminds us that it is an earth sign, so it reminds us we're dealing with things of the physical world, but we are the lantern bearers. We are the ones who have the ability to shine the light high, the information that is available. Light is information, information is light, and as we shine this information into the world, it helps to alleviate the darkness being the misinformation that is out there. There's a lot of it going on. We're going to be talking about that over the course of today's show. We've been in Gemini. This is where the moon sign is at the present moment. Gemini is an air sign dealing with the ideas of the choices that we make. But in order to make proper choices, we have to discern the information that we get, the good from the bad. We have to discern what is taking place with the way in which we're being informed. And once we make that decision, then we're able to get better information. The better the decision we make on how to discern, the better the information we get, the better the choices we make. And of course, the whole idea, as is shown here, is that we always defer to the higher self, to the highest aspect of ourselves that we're able to connect in with to be able to make these decisions. Because if we just locked into the physical world and we forget about the other realities prior to this, the fire, the water, the air, the other realms, then we miss the whole picture. And then we are going to be moving tonight, and then over the course of the weekend, our moon sign is going to be in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign, and we're back to the Chariot, which is putting on the armor. We have to put on that armor to be able to deal with the issues at hand. Why? Because the world becomes very watery, very emotional, and we all know that when our emotional buttons get pushed, we tend to react in ways different than if we're doing from another perspective. We don't want to just react to a situation. We want to respond. And sometimes those buttons get pushed and we instantly react. So the warrior helps us not to do that because we wear the armor, the protection, the armor of God that protects us from all of these emotional blows that are trying to basically knock us off course with ourselves. We have a lot of aspects we're looking at today. A lot of aspects. We've had it started off with a square and Mars, between Mars and Neptune, taking a new perspective on things. This kind of started things off early in the morning, 1:56 a.m. So we've been energized. The events of this last day, certainly here in America and on Earth, have energized things, great dose of this energy. But now we've hit a wall. What do we do with it? How do we express it? So the Hangman, which is representative of Neptune here, says we need to take things in a new perspective. Look at how we're going to approach things. Be strategic. As we move later on to the day, 11:22 a.m., we have the wounded healer Chiron, the wounded aspect of ourselves, which is in a square with Gemini, our communication hub. So how do we relate to ourselves? Are we relating to that part of ourselves that needs to be healed? Are we addressing it? Are we acknowledging it? When you take a look at that over the course of this day, 12:03 Uranus becomes sextile with the moon. So now we are going to expect the unexpected. Okay, expect the unexpected, and that's relating to Gemini. So the way in which we discern things might have some surprise information coming our way, and undoubtedly we will today. And then as we get through the rest of the day, we've got 3 of these squares in a row. Okay, 3 lessons. Squares are always lessons. So the first one is our imagination. Second one is Jupiter, which expands. And finally, Mercury, which is the messenger. So all 3 of these are in a square with Gemini, discerning the information we have. And so we have to use our imagination to that. We're going to have an expansion of the way that we're able to communicate and the information. And then finally, knowing how to communicate that. And then at 7:30 p.m. is when we go void of course, meaning that we hit the last aspect of Gemini before we go into the next moon sign, but that's not going to occur for a couple of hours. And then we hit 10:06 p.m. in which Cancer is now the official sign, the moon sign that we're going to be moving into, and that's where things get emotional. Okay, so today could be a good bumpy ride along the way. A big bumpy ride dealing with the way in which we discern the information that is available to us, the choices that we make, the connections that we make. Okay, so a lot going on today, and then over this weekend we'll be dealing with these emotions that come out of that situation. Now the moon phase for today, it's a waning moon. And when we get over to this page here, I'm able to tell you exactly what's going on. Alright, being a little tricky here. It'll get there eventually. So just as we're going through the day, just keep in mind we're going to have to look at things very carefully. We're going to have to look at things carefully because a lot is being thrown our way right now. Alright, the moon is 33.6% of the way full. It's heading back down to the new moon, which will be a week from yesterday, September 1st. On the Jewish calendar, today is 22 Av. 22 Av is the day. The year 5776. The daily thought for today is getting personal. Getting personal. When a relationship becomes real, when does a relationship become real? Well, once it is broken down, as long as each fulfills the other's expectations, there's no relationship, only a contract and its transitions. Once trust is breached, a new depth must enter, the depth of the human being. If there truly is a relationship, if it is the person inside that matters, then there is a search for forgiveness, for return, and for healing. So it was that within 40 days of entering into a contract with the one above, the children of Israel broke the deal, and the soul below and the one above discovered that they could not part from one another. All right? And finally, the solar weather around us, the space weather. Solar wind is currently 452.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index quiet at number 1 on the scale, which goes to 9, going up to 3 over the next 24 hours. A few scattered coronal holes throughout where we will be feeling the effect of the solar wind coming off of that over this weekend and into the next week. M-class flare possibility sits at 1%. X-class is at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity seems to be subsiding slightly, mostly staying stable, 10%, 5% dropping down to 1. In the high latitudes, it's pretty stable as well, and the severe range is dropping from 15 to 10. Otherwise, everything is pretty much the same, 20 to 15. So things are subsiding a little bit as the universe continues to breathe in and out, in and out. So that's the weather around us, the energy around us. Got an earth sign for the conscious mind. We've got a air sign for the unconscious mind, moving to a water sign. So lots of actions, lots of expressions to wrap up this week, and then we go into emotions, feelings. Okay, so There you have it. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. So today, I have 4 stories for you. The first one comes to us from Galveston Bay in Texas. Got 2 lights in the sky, unknown lights. Here's one footage of a bright sphere in the sky above Galveston. This was filmed back at the beginning of the month on the 7th. Alright, this is not part of it here. Alright, what do you think these orbs are? Please leave a comment below. Let's take a quick look at this. Alright, you can see it's coming from Finding UFO. A lot of good UFO researchers, a lot of people capturing images in the sky, and our technology certainly has been very helpful to that. Alright, the video itself is 6 minutes. I'm just going to give you the quick glimpse right there. There's the 2 objects in question. Alright, there you go, over Galveston, Texas. Going to move from Galveston. Let's go over to Arizona. UFO sighting over small Arizona city. This took place on the 20th. Buckeye, Arizona to be exact. This is awesome because it's an overcast day with massively thick dark clouds in the sky. What that means is nothing could shine bright enough to break through those clouds. No stars, no night sky, no moon. So any argument that this star is a waste of breath. This glowing object is checking out the neighborhood and could be interested in the lighting that comes from such schools. These clouds build up a special kind of lighting rare around the world called colored lighting. It could contain energy that the UFO or alien drone needs to continue its research mission. You often see lighting in the clouds of Arizona without even a drop of rain to be had. I used to live in Bullhead City, Arizona, Needles, California a few days where I often saw the rainbow colored lighting. Alright, here we go. The witness says, I just had a UFO sighting in Buckeye, Arizona, August 20th, 7:25 p.m. Have no idea what I just witnessed. Maybe a UFO or maybe just a drone. Nevertheless, it was kind of strange to see this hovering over our neighborhood in the middle of a thunderstorm. The sound of my AC unit in the background possibly drowned out any sound the object was making. Please understand, I'm not saying this was an alien spacecraft. I'm just saying I have no idea what this object is, and the fact that it was flying makes this an unidentified flying object. Alright, we have a short video here that he took. It's a 2-minute, 7-second video where we see the object in the sky that has this person wondering, what is that? Okay, now I'd venture to say probably not a drone, because we've seen what drones look like and they don't usually look like that. That's definitely orb, and it definitely has a bluish tint to it, doesn't it? Okay, so there you go. Link will be available for you to check out at firstcontactradio.com. Here we have a sighting by Rowan Blanchard. Hollywood Rowan Blanchard catches UFO over New York City. There's our object in question. See it above the lights there. Today's own Instagram, a Hollywood star, Rowan Blanchard, posted a photo of a UFO that has fans abuzz. While visiting New York City, she channeled to take a photo during a beautiful sunset and accidentally captured a UFO disc that is 90% cloaked. Remember what I said about sunset being the most common time for UFOs to be seen? Well, it's due to the bending of the light, the observer, and the angle of the sun. She stated, say what you will, but that thing was just appearing in the photo and wasn't physically there. This is a fantastic catch, and I am so glad she shared it with us. 100% evidence that aliens do watch over New York City with enthusiasm. All right, there's our object. lights showing. You could see there's more to this object, and those lights are connected. All right. So interesting capture there over New York City. And finally, one last piece, Muhammad Ali. The legend in the sport of boxing, Muhammad Ali was a UFO believer who claimed to have encounters with the mysterious visitors from other planets. Author and UFO expert Timothy Green Buckley had many alien encounters with the boxing icon up to the early 90s. Ali said that he even had witnessed a strange activity involving massive UFO mothership, and went on to say that extraterrestrial visitations were of tremendous importance to the whole world. In a tribute to the legendary boxer and civil rights activist, Mr. Buckley explored Ali's thoughts on UFOs. In his book, Amazing Flying Saucer Experiences of Celebrities, Rock Stars, and the Rich and Famous, published in 2015, Mr. Buckley said that of all of the people who talked about UFOs and extraterrestrial theories, no one more knowledgeable than the heavyweight boxing champ, Muhammad Ali. Mr. Beckley revealed that he had 4 meetings with Ali when they discussed alien topics. The first one happened in the boxer's home in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which the author describes as more like a Holiday Inn hotel than someone's residence. In his book, he wrote that the knockout artist had been working on a previous mornings in the park and had made the headlines when he claimed that he had seen 2 UFOs moving over New York City in the park in his home. Ali apparently told him he had to look up before dawn while running, and during that time he saw the first bright UFO hovering as if hanging by an invisible thread. The second UFO was reportedly spotted with a glowing red trail behind. Ali then called the attention of his trainer, and they watched the 2 mysterious aerial objects which moved slowly across the sky for about 15 minutes. The best Ali could describe the incredible event was just round and big. Ali further told the author that he found out later that there were UFO sightings on the same night, including one from a pilot who was about to land at Newark Airport. Ali also revealed to Beckley that he had seen several UFOs many times before, a total of 16 sightings to the date of their conversations. When the author was about to bid goodbye, Ali waved him over and said he would not mind talking further. The author indicated in his book Ali claimed that UFOs had been watching him for some time. Ali reportedly said to him that he had seen UFOs playing tag between the stars many times in the early morning hours. On the second meeting, he showed a video to Ali, and the boxing champ pointed out characteristics of flying saucers in the video, like the ones similar to what he observed in real life. During the third meeting, Mr. Beckley took with him Israeli psychic Uri Geller to Ali's training camp in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania at Deer Lake. However, Ali apparently returned to the UFO topics, which he appeared to be more comfortable than talking about psychic phenomena. The author had one final meeting with Ali about UFOs, where the legend had said that he always speaks his mind because he discovered that many people have had similar sightings. Ali was hoping that others will listen in the future, and he was convinced UFOs are critical to the entire world. Alright, so there you have it from the champ, his UFO experiences. You know, you don't usually hear about these kind of things, but it's good when we do, to know that, you know, these folks see these things and they're not in denial. But of course, we wouldn't expect a guy like Muhammad Ali to be in denial, because he was such an outspoken person, not only with what he did as a boxer, but as a person himself. So there you go, 4 good sightings for today. I'll be back in a few minutes and we shall continue on. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. We're going to talk about some truth right now. So, the last couple days, this last week's been a very exciting week. Started off with some news, letting you know what's going on. Last couple days, got into Nibiru and Anunnaki. You have plenty of information for you to delve into, videos to watch, articles to check out. Lots and lots of information out there. Today we're going to turn our attention back to the current events that are taking place in the world, specifically here in America, because some big things have occurred yesterday that you probably aren't aware of, and I think you need to know about these things. Yesterday, well, let's backtrack. 2 days ago, Donald Trump gave his speech, and he's been giving excellent speeches. I usually catch one of them a day when he's out on the road. He's got these Right Side Broadcasting is an organization that is out there covering all of his events. You can go to YouTube anytime he has one of these events, and you can actually see it live. And so it's pretty awesome to be able to catch all those events and hear what he's saying, see what he's all about firsthand, rather than what somebody is saying about him. So he comes out and he gives this talk, and during the course of the conversation, he says very clearly that Hillary Clinton is a bigot. And when he said it, it was very loud and proud, very in your face. And he thought, okay, this is going to be the news clip for the next couple days, because they're going to pick up this soundbite and they're going to run with it. And sure enough, as soon as that show ended, as soon as his talk ended, flipped over to the media channels, and they're already talking about Donald Trump's comment. He called Hillary a bigot. Well, Hillary decided to respond yesterday, so she gave a talk. Well, Hillary's talk didn't quite go the way that she expected. Some say it was a good talk that she gave, but during the course of this talk, what she did was she decided to discuss the alt-right. The alt-right basically is the alternative right side of this political realm. Alternative from alternative media, like what we're doing here, like what many other channels, if you go, you got the links on First Contact Radio to a variety of other alt news sites that are out there. And so this is what she's talking about. She was going to attack the alt-right. And she did. And she attacked the entire alt-right, lumped them all into one category, the millions and millions of us out there, and she said we were all racists. And then she specifically called out Alex Jones of InfoWars, that people listen to him and they get these crazy ideas and everything's a conspiracy theory. Well, apparently Hillary thought that this would go over well with people to do this, and it didn't go over well at all, because she really is not very well versed on how this whole thing works. By calling out the alt-right community, by calling out the alternative news community, what she pretty much did was she energized millions of people who now have taken a particular interest in wanting to really see that Hillary is really nailed for everything that is going on. Now it's like turning up the heat. Okay, Hillary screwed up. Going to turn up the heat now on her and what she's about, because that's what you need to do. So I've got a bunch of links here I want you to check out. So this first video we have right here, it deals with this particular subject. It's a video by Paul Joseph Watson. You've heard his videos, you've seen them. I'm going to leave this video for you to watch. It's 4 minutes in length. But the course of this video, he outlines all of the mistakes that Hillary made. Because basically what Hillary did, she went up there and she pointed fingers, claiming that all of this group was racist, and proceeded to leave herself out of the equation of all the things she was accusing others of doing. Basically, what Hillary was doing was going through the playbook, the rules for radicals. Remember, we did this last week, talked about the rules for radicals. Go back to next week, look up the playlist of the show. I think it was the middle of the week, and you'll be able to read those. Once you know these rules for radicals, you can go right down the list, and you could see what they're doing. It's the same old play over and over and over again. She's pointing the finger at others to blame them for her own inadequacies and her faults and her failures. Just like she's trying to blame Colin Powell for what happened with the server, on and on and on. It's just a typical tactic, okay? It's one of the tactics. You keep ridiculing people. Here, let me go over these 12 rules just basically so you understand. First one, power is not what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. 2, never go outside the expertise of your people. 3, whenever possible, go outside the expertise of the enemy. 4, make the enemy live up to his own book of rules. 5, ridicule is man's most potent weapon. 6, a good tactic is one that your people enjoy. 7, a tactic that drags on too long becomes a drag. 8, keep the pressure on, never let up. 9, the threat is usually more terrifying than the thing itself. 10, if you push a negative hard enough, it will push through and become a positive. 11, the price of a successful attack is a constructive alternative. And 12, pick the target, freeze it, personalize it, and polarize it. And that's what she's doing. She's picking a group, she's targeting it, and she's, you guys are a racist group. Well, she just called millions of us racists. And we're not racist. I'm not a racist. I don't know anybody that is a racist. Are there racists in the world? Yeah. But I don't know anybody that is. I know people that are concerned about issues going on and talk about issues, but that doesn't make somebody racist because they're discussing particular issues. A racist is someone who believes that who and what their race is superior than the others and continually puts themselves ahead of others. An organization like Black Lives Matter could be considered a racist group because they go out and the way that they are espousing their ideology. The things that she is saying, could be falling into that category. The associations she has. So she's trying to divert attention. That's what you do. You divert attention, and it's all about creating an illusion. So this video is a really great video that Paul put together about seeing right through this illusion and how she shouldn't have stepped into this trap, because by doing so, she just took on millions of people now, when before it was just her versus Trump. And I don't know what she was thinking she was doing, but hey, we have a woman who went on a show and trying to prove that she's healthy by opening a jar of pickles, which now you can go find. There's been examination of this, that the jar of pickles seemed to have been opened, because normally when you open a jar of pickles, you hear the pop sound of the air pressure being released as you open it up. Well, that wasn't the case with this particular jar of pickles. So it seems that the jar was already pre-opened, because there's some indication that she made an effort to do it and had trouble doing it, and so on and so forth. So just more lies coming from the Hillary camp. So here we have a story. Trey Gowdy says the FBI never asked Clinton about the intent in the email probe. FBI agents never asked Hillary Clinton about the intentions behind her mishandling of classified information, despite the fact that FBI Director James Comey said he declined to recommend charges against her because he found no evidence she intentionally thwarted the law. Representative Trey Gowdy said, "I didn't see any questions on the issue of intent," the South Carolina Republican said Thursday during an appearance on Fox News. Comey said he didn't go forward with charges because he didn't have specific criminal intent. "I didn't see the follow-up questions in the summary I read," Gowdy added. The House Oversight Committee member was referring to classified notes from the FBI's jury interview with Clinton, which was conducted just days before the Bureau moved to conclude its year-long investigation of her private email use, with recommending an indictment for anyone involved. Gowdy said he saw no reason why the summary should be considered classified. Clinton's public statements on the email server have left the door open to questions about whether she treated records related to her family's foundation as work-related emails, Gowdy noted. So if she considered them to be personal, then we move into the facet where she and her lawyers had those emails deleted, he said. And they didn't just push the delete button, they had them deleted where even God couldn't read them. Gowdy said the former Secretary of State had used a technology known as BleachBit to scrub her server, rendering much of its contents unrecoverable. The FBI's interview, which was not transcribed, did not include questions about why Clinton had set up the email system in her basement, according to Gowdy. In testimony before Congress last month, Comey criticized Clinton's extremely careless treatment of classified material, but stopped short of characterizing her behavior as criminal. Uh-oh. Seems that Comey forgot to ask some questions. Now, that's not a surprise because we've found that Comey has been connected in there with the Clinton Foundation, that he was involved with a bank that was working with their foundation. So he's one of the unfortunate individuals, corrupt individuals, that is unfortunately part of this process as well. There's so many corrupt individuals that are out there. And the sad thing is they're giving these organizations a bad name because the FBI and the has done a lot of good work over the years. But look how he's really distorting what they're about. Look how their lies are going on. Look at the Department of Justice, how they've really given that department a bad name. Loretta Lynch is just lying, lying, lying. And the common denominator is the people within these various organizations are directly connected to Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation. Somewhere within the whole mix, there's a lot of corruption and collusion going on. So Trey Gowdy is on the case. Now, because of all that is taking place and because of all of the additional pressures that are going on, these new emails are being questioned and they keep trying to stall. The Clinton camp is trying to stall as long as possible. And these new emails now have been put before, have been given some court orders to produce them sooner than the Clinton Foundation wants to do that. It says court orders, new Clinton email production by September 13th. State admits Benghazi material is in a new cache of emails Clinton failed to produce. Judicial Watch today announced that a federal court has ordered the State Department to review newly found Clinton emails, turn over respective records by September 13th, and in two other Freedom of Information Act lawsuits, the State Department is scheduled to release additional emails from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's non-state.gov email system beginning September 30th. In a court filing this week, the State Department admitted that it had found Benghazi-related documents among the 14,900 Clinton emails and attachments uncovered by the FBI that Ms. Clinton deleted and withheld from the State Department. The first batch of new emails comes in response to the court order issued today in a November 13, 2015 Judicial Watch lawsuit filed against the Department of State seeking all communications between former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the Obama White House from the day of the terrorist attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi throughout the following week. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of Dr. Larry Kawa of Boca Raton, Florida, in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, West Palm Beach Division. Today's order requiring the production of the emails from the 14,900 new Clinton emails as well as other communications or emails from the other materials recently delivered to the State Department was issued by U.S. District Court Judge William P. Dimtrolius. The court ruled that the State Department shall search the material, determine whether any responsive records exist, and complete its first production of non-exempt records to the extent any exist by September 13th. So it's good that there's a little pressure being put on here because the State Department is trying to stall as long as possible. Why? Because Hillary is guilty. She's guilty, guilty, guilty. And she's trying to, they're trying to delay. They're all trying to cover for her. I don't understand, how so many corrupt individuals are out there, but They're out there. And this is a really interesting time to watch what's going on because we truly are seeing so many corrupt individuals outing themselves in what's taking place. So we're going to keep our eye on this, but know that there's now these emails that talk about Benghazi, um, said that there's stuff in there about stand down orders and what have you. So Hillary's being asked questions about these things. And how does she respond? Hillary dodges Foundation questions by bribing reporters with chocolates. Hillary Clinton used chocolates to avoid answering questions from reporters about alleged scandals involving the Clinton Foundation on Thursday. Clinton herself tried some of the chocolates, noting in particular that she loved the salt. So good, the former Secretary of State complained, "Oh my gosh, this is really good." Clinton nibbled. The male voice can be heard saying that now would be a good time for your questions, yet Clinton ignored him. "I want to offer you to all the press," Clinton said. Clinton then tells the confectioners, so cooperative, so hardworking, they all deserve a piece of chocolate. One reporter brings to ask Clinton about her husband, former President Bill Clinton's departure from the family foundation, but Clinton only responded, "Everybody try one," before exiting the scene. How about that? I mean, look, she can't even answer a question. She knows that she's guilty. She can't answer anymore. She obviously has physical ailments that need to be addressed. She's not in her right state of mind. Apparently, that's, can be seen by more and more people. What she did by going up and pointing her finger at millions of people and accusing them of being racist certainly fits into the mix of somebody who isn't doing and working with a very good strategy, because that wasn't a good strategy. Not a good strategy at all. So as the pressure is being turned up, as more and more people and InfoWars, Alex Jones was the name who was called out, and Alex Jones has millions of listeners. Alex Jones has opened more people's eyes to the corruption and scandals going on than anybody else that I've really been aware of. There are many out there, but Alex Jones hammers it home, on a daily basis, and has been doing so for years. In 2009, he was actually an inspiration for me getting this show started. I had heard him speaking enough times about go start your own show, go start your own show, and one day I'd heard him say it enough times that I actually took action and started a show, I think within a week of that decision. So, he's been doing this for a long while, and so now that he was called out by her, well, she just gave him publicity even more than what he already had. So people are going to be going to InfoWars, Infowars.com, and once they get there, they're going to be finding out all of this dirt about Hillary. And then from InfoWars, they'll find other sources as well. She called out Breitbart, 31 million viewers. She called them out. All of these are connected to like the Drudge Report, Rents.com, the various forums that are out there, World News Daily. She made a mistake. She made a big mistake. And I don't think she realizes it because they're not necessarily operating with the best strategy in the world. But that's okay. And you could see what they're doing is an act of desperation, a pure act of desperation, because they've lied so much. They've been so corrupt. So last night, Donald Trump announced his pick for Attorney General. Donald Trump has made yet another announcement that will dismay Democrats across the country, and that his choice for Attorney General. Trump tweeted that his pick for Attorney General is Southern California Representative Trey Gowdy, who currently chairs the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on Benghazi. Gowdy has been a constant thorn in the Obama administration's side and has exposed the White House incompetence in everything from amnesty to IRS abuses to the legal deletion of Clinton emails. Trump tweets read, "At Hillary Clinton's toast, Dems had better get the B team off the bench. T. Gowdy, South Carolina for Attorney General under President Trump." This tweet came right on the heels of the announcement that Trump would want Sarah Palin on his cabinet. So I just read you some stuff about Trey Gowdy, and if you go back, you can find the videos of him really asking some tough questions at the session that they had. And so now Trump gets in office. This is the guy who's going to go after Hillary. So she's got a problem, and she's going to have to be real careful not to badmouth him, because that would not be good. That would just get them in more and more hot water. So because there is so much heat right now on her, it's because she brought it upon herself. Years worth of lying, years worth of scandals are all coming back, and they're starting to hit her. You can only tell lies so much, and the lies have expanded from her to all of the people who are trying to cover for her, and the circle of lies has grown bigger. Well, that many people trying to cover up and tell a lie, it's pretty difficult to keep the truth, because there's a variety of truths out there, and eventually someone slips up because there's far too many people trying to keep a story straight. But you can't even keep the story straight because you've got the person involved with at the heart of the story doesn't even know the true story. She lies from moment to moment. How do you know that Hillary Clinton is lying? Her lips are moving. So we've seen all the corruption, we've seen all the scandals. If you haven't seen this movie yet, now is the time. It's called Clinton Cash. This is something that really got things rolling as far as the corruption that is out there with Hillary Clinton, because people started seeing this and they started realizing all of the things that she's been into. So I want to make that link available. The movie's an hour and 4 minutes. Well worth your time. If you have not seen this, watch this movie. Watch this movie, share it with others, spread the link around through your Facebook, through your Twitter. Use the social networks to get all of this information out, because it's very, very important. We've got her on the ropes. We've got to keep on pushing hard with all of this info. Now, one of the topics that has been brought up was Trump brought up that Hillary was a bigot, and that she was connected into more of this racist ideology than she will admit. She tries to point the finger at him, saying that you've had somebody, David Duke, come out and support you. But it's one thing, you can't control who's going to support you. It's a big world. People out there might like something you do, and then they express, hey, I like what you do. But he instantly, when he disavowed it, when he found out about it, it's been said over and over and over again, but they keep bringing it up as if Trump never said anything about it. He's publicly come out and said, I don't stand behind his support. It's a big world. What are you going to do? I can't, control everybody who's going to support him. But on the Hillary side, things are a little different, because she actually gave praise to somebody who is a KKK recruiter, Robert Byrd. And you can find this information readily available. If you go to a Facebook page, you could see right up there. I linked a story up there all about this. So why would Hillary be involved with someone like this? Well, because the Democratic Party has a long history of being involved with being a racist organization. They are the party of slavery. They are the party that the KKK came out of. They will tell you, oh no, all of that changed, that they used to have all of this slavery background, but then the party switched sometime around Barry Goldwater, that the party switched, and now the Republicans are now the Democrats, and the Democrats are the Republicans. They're trying to, do the old switcheroo, but we're not buying it, because that didn't happen. They're just trying to cover their tracks the way that they always do. In the same way that Hillary is trying to blame Colin Powell for what she did with her server, they're trying to now blame the Republicans for the racism of the Democrats. But it's not the case. And anybody who takes time out to learn, there's plenty of sources out there to learn and understand that this is the big ruse that you're trying to pull on people. Well, here's a good 13-minute video that kind of sums up what's going on. And I bring this link available so you can check this out. You notice whenever you see these videos, down the right-hand side here, you have suggestions of other videos that are of the same topic. Many of them are the same topic. And if you just follow along, you're going to find lots of information that's going to confirm what you see here. Now, with anything, you have to be discerning. You can't watch one video and say, okay, I got all my information from YouTube and that's it. Check your sources. Check your sources over and over and over again. You can't rely upon one source. You need to make sure that things are verified, because it's easy to make a fake video. It's easy to write a fake story. But remember, this is an information war, and our job is to discern. Okay? Right here, the discernment. In order to make better choices, we have to discern the information that we are getting, the good from the bad. We can go on the internet and people downplay the internet, say there's nothing good on the internet. Well, that's an absolute ridiculous statement, because there's tons of good stuff on the internet. The biggest universities in the world are on the internet. The biggest systems of science and religion and philosophy are online. Artist communities are online. Music. There's tremendous amount of good things. But there's also a lot of garbage. So when we go on the internet, we can choose where we want to go. A person can go to someplace good, or they can go to someplace which is bad. Whatever they choose, we have to discern where we're going to go. And once we find the sources of information out there, then we can get better information. And once we get better information, we make better choices. If more people understood the history of the Democratic Party, perhaps they might have a different thought about how they would want to interact with them. Maybe they might not want to at all. I mean, why would anyone African American, why would any blacks in America want to side with the Democrats, knowing that they are the party of slavery, that wanted to keep them enslaved, that fought to keep them enslaved, that brought the KKK? Why would anyone want to support that, knowing that bit of information? You'd have to be completely deceived and be completely gullible in order to be in that place. Then I can't understand why anybody would, but hey, people are, people do, and very bizarre that it happens. So last night, I wrote something up here. I wrote this piece and I put it online, made a picture GIF of it so it can be easily downloaded and shared through any system. I want to read this to you because this kind of sums up some of my thoughts and questions about this whole issue here. Since it is on record that Hillary takes money from countries that abuse women and kill homosexuals, then it would seem that by default that anyone who supports her is okay with this kind of abuse. Since it has been discovered that Hillary and Obama were involved in arming the terrorists, then it would seem that by default that anyone who supports her is okay with this kind of treason. Since we have heard Hillary give praise to KKK recruiter Robert Byrd, and we know that Hillary took donations from the KKK, then it would seem that by default that anyone who supports her is okay with those kind of associations. In other words, Hillary's supporters seem to be okay with the abuse of women and homosexuals, treason against America, and association with hate groups. Am I missing something? Because it seems kind of strange to me how anyone with a sense of morality would support Hillary and this kind of a track record. I guess liberalism truly is a mental disorder. Now, some might get upset by that if you're liberal, thinking that, I'm saying you have a mental disorder. But if you support these things, then something is not right. Why would you support the abuse? Everybody that I'm talking to had or has a mother. If she's still alive or she passed. But everybody came into this world through a mother. Many people have sisters. People have grandmothers. People have, young nieces. All kind of women in our life. Why would anybody want to support somebody who abuses women? That's just horrendous. Why would you want to support that, knowing that we all have women in our lives that we want to see protected? Why would anybody want to support someone that takes money from these organizations that are abusive to homosexuals? Especially in light of how this administration has been trying to bring to light that whole acceptance and the whole tolerance. And then when you get to the other things about the treason and the weapons, I mean, I can just go on and on. It makes no sense why anyone would support these things, because you would think that person is completely anti-American. And it certainly seems to be, but that is unfortunately the situation that's going on out there. So these are my thoughts. These were something that I felt was pertinent to the situation. And if you like what's there, maybe you can go ahead and share that with others. All right. So here's another quote, but this one comes from Mahatma Gandhi. And this one is very significant to what's going on. It says, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, and then they fight you, and then they win. Well, look what happened with Trump. First they ignored him. He doesn't have a chance to win. Then they laughed at him. He's an idiot. You know, how could he do this? He doesn't have any policy, doesn't have anything. They laughed. Now they're fighting with him, because now they realize that, ignoring him didn't work, laughing at him didn't work, so now they're going to fight at him. Not only are they fighting with him, but they picked a fight with the community around him, millions of people strong, men and women from all walks of life, millions of people strong, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Asians. It's picked on them. So they're fighting. So what comes next? Next comes the winning. Because ultimately, people are going to see through all of this. They're going to see through the lies that are being told to them. They are seeing what's happening already. They're waking up. And during this time, where we're at the Virgo. What is this about? Holding the lantern high so the light can be shined, so people can see where they're going in the darkness. We've had a lot of darkness around us, but now is our opportunity to see more of what's going on by shining the light. And now there are millions of people out there that are willing to shine the light. So we have good information that's out there. We have a network that we're able to share this information through, the social networks. And obvious that those on the left, the liberal democratic side, aren't the savvy computer people that we have upon the right side. Okay, so there's a different set of intelligence. I mean, just talking to people about their understanding of this technology, you start to see differences. Sure, you've got Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, which is out there, and they've got that technology and understanding, but doesn't mean that everybody that is out there understands, because as you hear some of the conversations that goes on, there's not the full understanding of the workings of what takes place here. And that's their downfall, because they're trying to go back to rules for radicals. Number one, they're trying to make it seem as if they have more power than they do. They're faking it. They don't have this power. They don't have this full understanding, but they're trying to come across as if they do. And because they really don't, and it's just an illusion, people are seeing through that. They're making mistakes because they don't understand fully what they're doing. They're just trying to attack, attack, attack. And as you watch the attacks, you see how desperate they are. You could see the people in the mainstream media who are calling themselves out, showing their true colors. So we just have to stay the course, my friends. We have to stay the course with what we're doing. Stay focused, because this is going to happen. This is going to happen, that Hillary is going to finally get her comeuppance, because too many people are seeing the light is being shined upon all of the corruption. This woman's already frail and in bad health. She's already avoiding situations of people asking her questions, because that seems to trigger her into some sort of an episode, as we have seen on various occasions. So she's in a very precarious place. Yesterday, Dr. Drew his show was canceled over at CNN. Well, just prior to that, Dr. Drew had come out talking about Hillary's health, that she had a serious condition that needs to be addressed, and Apparently, they didn't like that over at the Clinton News Network, so he is no longer going to be doing the show there. It's just confirmation that he was on the right track and he was saying the right things. So, another bit of information. So, where will today go? We'll see. But we have all of these squares that are taking place. So, there's some lessons that are going to be learned today, some hard lessons. Lessons dealing with Gemini, how we communicate, but more importantly, how we communicate with the information that we have. So we need to use our discernment to discern the good information from the bad information. And once we can figure that out, things will be okay. And we just have to know that there's a lot being thrown at us. They're going to keep turning on the attack on the liberal Democratic side. They're going to keep going and following the rules, trying to attack, but they're using the same rules. They don't have another playbook. You know, one thing you can do is if you know what these rules are, you want to really infuriate somebody when they start hollering at you, you could just say, hey, you know what? That was a really great use of rule number 5. And just stop. What do you mean? Stop them in their tracks. Hey, man, nice way to use rule number 9. And once you're onto them, and once they know that they can't fool you, then the game's over for them. It's like, Donald Trump, one of the things he said yesterday was, he talked about Hillary, and it said that she came out and she started calling the Republican Party and the people involved racist. And he said in the past, and many times Republicans, they cower from this, saying, oh, how could you call me a racist? And then they start being apologetic and being defensive and, all of this kind of stuff. He said, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not that person, so it's not going to work on me. And therein lies the whole answer. If you don't fall for their trap, if you don't feel you have to apologize for something, because just because they're pointing the finger at you, claiming that you are something, doesn't mean that you are. So that's their trick. Rule number 5. Ridicule is their most potent weapon. So they keep ridiculing to beat someone down. Just so the person says, oh, I'm sorry, I really am that way. I didn't realize it, but thanks for pointing it out. It's all nonsense. It's all a game. It's all a game. We just have to be smarter than them, and fortunately, we are smarter than them. So, shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be an issue. One thing I wanted to mention before I go on as well, just another note. We've had, a bunch of these natural disasters recently. We had the situation in Italy, and they're still looking for survivors there. There was the earthquake up in the Burma, Myanmar. And one thing that I discovered yesterday was there is a big tsunami that hit in Brazil just the other day. You can go online, you can find a video of the tsunami coming in. It was a pretty good sized one. You're not hearing anything on the mainstream media for some reason. But our thoughts and prayers out to the people out there in Brazil for all the challenges they're going through. Certainly our thoughts and prayers to the people out in Louisiana who are still dealing with the aftermath of the flood. There was a tornado that hit in Indiana, hitting a small town out there down in southern Indiana near Crawfordsville. Apparently it wiped out a bunch of buildings and part of the city and some houses. There was a Starbucks that was knocked down. Fortunately, the death and the toll of injury was minimal as far as I understand. So we've got some earth changes taking place in addition to all of the other stuff that's going on. And then when we talked this last couple of days about Nibiru and the Anunnaki, we have a situation that if that is coming into our system, then we might be feeling many more of these effects, and some of these effects might be due to that as in actual event taking place. There's also, for some interesting reason, that there are warnings being given from different governments throughout the world about being prepared for just various types of disasters and so on. So there's something brewing under the scenes, something brewing underneath, and we just need to be aware of that. So I just wanted to add that, to your thought process, so that we can just, send out some positive vibes to people who are being affected by all of these natural disasters, and that they can find their way through it and We never know where we're going to be if a situation's going to hit, if something's going to hit in the area where we live. And so you just kind of not be scared or worried about it, but just be aware that if it does, how we're going to handle the situation. And there you have it. All right. All right, let me move on here. Here's an article, Top 10 Spiritual Truths That We Weren't Taught in School by Michelle Walling. What would our world be like today of these if these top spiritual truths were taught in our schools, in the mainstream media, in our history books? How can we change the system to introduce these topics to future generations? What will the world be like after successfully reorganizing these spiritual truths? Well, here are 10 truths here. Number 1, we are spiritual beings on a human journey. Before we came down into the physical body, we planned out the point in time when we would begin to awaken to who we are and what we are. The womb of our mother was the tunnel of forgetting, and we knew the challenge of remembering would be tough. The biggest risk we took was never remembering. We were never disconnected from the source of light. However, the connection was stretched very long and thin to reach this part of the universe in density. Our challenge is to strengthen this connection, to grow our pillar of light and remembrance and recognition of who we truly are. 2, our souls never die. We just change our focus. As a spark of light from source, we're infinitely connected to the flow of experience. When it's time to disconnect the cord of life from our physical body, our spark rises up out of the human physical body. We take the experience of our lifetime with us, but our focus is changed to a slightly different level of vibration. We still exist as the person we were in the human form as well as the many people we have been before. Every lifetime builds experience and wisdom. 3, everything is energy, vibrating at certain frequencies. All living beings on earth have consciousness, even rocks and trees. Everything and everyone is connected to the tree of life, an infinite source, energy source. We can connect to the consciousness of trees and rocks and can carry on conversations with them by tuning into their particular vibrational frequency. 4, our thoughts create our reality. All thoughts are energy, which manifest into what we see as reality. Always being aware of our thoughts. This is one of the first steps in responsible co-creation of your reality. 5, we are the ones we've been waiting for. There are many races and dimensions of beings on this planet at this time. Cherubim angels, seraphim angels, archangels, Pleiadians, Orions, Sirians, Arcturians, Anunnaki, just to name a few. We volunteered to be here at this time, answering the call from the consciousness of planet Earth as she cries out for help. We came here from other galaxies, universes, and cosmoses. Many came here each time there was a chance to achieve a golden age after the fall. Although those times were not completely successful, they were all preparation for this time. Most of us incarnated here before, many times, in order to prepare for this current lifetime. There are souls who have been here as way showers and leaders, and there are souls who are just wanted to be here to witness the raising of vibration of the human race in concert with the planet, which will affect the solar system, the universe, the cosmos, and beyond. 7, we are never alone. We could not exist here without the help of our spirit guides and angels or higher vibrational beings of light who made agreements with us to help steer us on the path towards the goal of ascension. 8, time is an illusion. We have a past, and we already know we have been to the future. The majority of our energy particles exist in a place of no time. Time is created in order to experience and be part of time-controlled experiment. Meditation or going within is the key to returning to the place of no time. 9, ascension does not involve going anywhere. It's a state of being, a focus of awareness and consciousness to a higher vibrational frequency. It is what we were created for, to go forth and experience and return the experience back to source in an infinite loop of co-creation and mastery. The main reward of incarnating in the depths of hell at this time is rising like the phoenix from the ashes into the bliss of light and love. And 10, love is all there is. Finding and reconnecting to love again is the most important thing we can do as humans. Source is unconditional love, and we are sparks of source, which means that we are also love. Therefore, we are that we seek. Loving ourselves unconditionally is the key to returning to source. Change starts with each individual person, recognizing the truth. We are not responsible for trying to convince others of our own truth, but instead All we have to do is to be truth, and the rest will follow. How do we do this? Be the example by speaking your truth and watch the world change before your eyes. By becoming responsible for ourselves, our thoughts, and our actions, we will have made one great leap towards the future of our children and the future of humanity as spiritual beings on a human journey. We have the greatest opportunity ever in the history of Earth to be the best version of the human being that we can be. It is simply up to us as to how glorious we can create the future of humanity existing on the spaceship we call Earth. Okay, so lots of good points to remember. Now, the reason I bring this up and the reason I like to do a show where we get to the spiritual aspects to the end is because there's no point in just bringing up a problem without bringing up a solution. And the solution is always a spiritual solution. Always. There's never a time when the spiritual solution is not the solution. So when we understand that our words are things, our thoughts are things, it's important to know that, because in an instance like, let's say that in the particular instance of politics, and we're looking at the situation where we realize and say, oh, the powers that be always win. Well, if that's the thought process we put, then we create that. But if we believe that we can make a difference despite all of the challenges against us, we can rise above all those differences and free ourselves, then we create that opportunity for ourselves. If we keep looking and saying that someone like Hillary continues to get away with it all the time, she never gets caught, we create that scenario. But if we change our mindset and we believe that the system of justice can work, and she can be, and anybody can be, held responsible for their crimes, we set that up as well. So we have to look to the spiritual solutions in all circumstances, because it helps bring us back around to understanding that we're more than just the physical. These instances, these political things that are going on, they're physical events on the physical plane. We have to rise above that to the higher planes, to the higher energetic sources, to be able to create the solutions down here. And if we do that, and we do it more often and make the practice of doing that, we find that our ability to affect and change this world becomes easier and easier. Trying to change the world in the physical reality and the denseness isn't such an easy thing to do, because you're down in the physical and you're fighting against the other physical things. So rather than trying to fight against and change something here that is in the density, you want to go to some place above that before it's in the density, in the thought process, in the thought realm, in the emotional realm, in the action word realm, and call into existence something else that will affect the change upon the physical. It's not a difficult process. We just aren't encouraged or taught to do that, because we're not taught to understand things outside of this physical world. We're taught to understand that there's a God, but we aren't really taught how to interact with this God, how to interact with the divine source. We've been taught stories about beings who have walked upon the earth that have claimed to be the source of God, but in reality, they were just beings walking around filled with that same spirit, same source as we all are right now. And that this ultimate source is beyond all of these things, and we have the ability to tap into it because we are all connected to it. We're all connected through it. So the spiritual solution is always, always, always the solution to the problems, and especially now with everything going on, we need to tap into that. And then when we add in all of the prophecy that has been discussed for so many years, and we can see things playing out, I believe wholeheartedly that we are in very significant times. And when I simply look at the key phrases and words that are used during this time, those are some of my clues. And this isn't just based on a whim. This is based on a lot of study of these various books and these works, so that now I can recognize some things and say this is important. For example, Obama is the president of the nation of America. So you could say that this is an Obama nation. The Bible in the prophetic works talks about an abomination. Well, the word abomination is very similar to the concept that we are an abomination. So I listened to that and I said, okay, there's something there that is a clue. Are there any other clues? The Bible talks a lot about trumpets. And when trumpets are talked about in the Bible, usually they are representative and somehow connected with God, and oftentimes an announcement of something. God has something to say, and a trumpet announces that in. Well, we have trump, pence. If you say that together, trumpets, it's very close to the word trumpets. So we now have abomination and we have trumpets. We have other phrases and words when Ben Carson spoke about Hillary and talked about these rules for radicals and how Lucifer was one of the people that was given credit at the beginning of the book, and that Hillary, greatly influenced by this, is then influenced by and Lucifer. We now have another character that is in the prophetic storyline. And if we start looking for these various clues, we can see them very simple. Remember, you got to be like a child to enter the kingdom. We don't have to look and overcomplicate things. Sometimes we can just look at the simple things. Oh, trumpet sounds like the word trumpets. And there's a lot of trumpets in the Bible, and they usually are indication that God has something important to say. So those are the things that are going on. So I look at these clues and I say, we're in some significant times here because these things are playing out. And these are just some of the ideas. There's many, many, many more. And as you step back and you start considering the possibilities, you'll start noticing more as well. And all of the things that I've been bringing up about the Nibiru and the Anunnaki tie right in. All the things from the Nag Hammadi library are very significant as well. So lots of stuff, lots of good stuff. We're learning a lot these days, and that is awesome. It's a fun time to be alive. It can be frustrating, but there's a lot of fun to watch and participate in this event. All right, here's a channel message from today. This was the message from Archangel Gabriel channeled yesterday, the 25th. Here we go.
Archangel Gabriel Daily Message till Thursday, August 25th, 2016 by Shelley Young. Dear ones, you are looking at the world through filters, often created more by conditioning than truth or preference. What if you made the decision today to, instead of looking for what is wrong, start looking for what is so right in your world? What if you went about your day looking for evidence of love? You get to decide what you would like to grow through your attention. We recommend you choose something that can help you embrace the wonder, magic, and unconditional love that abounds for you, if only you have the eyes to see. Archangel Gabriel.
Okay, now that was very important. That was very important what was said there, because all of these events, if we were to look at them and get caught up in them, we could feel weighed down, very heavy with everything, very depressed, because, all the doom. But within all of this is all the good, because at the same time something's fallen apart, something is rebuilding. And for all of those who are here right now on Earth to be participating in the rebuilding process, this is a great time, because it means time to act, time to do what we came here to do. We're here to rebuild. So the rebuilding is finding the love, finding the positivity, finding the like-minded individuals out there, understanding our connection to the higher power. Once we do all of these things, what happens in the physical world pales in comparison, because we have a higher understanding that there's much more than just the physical. Remember, the physical is the trap. Physical world is the trap if you think that that's all there is, because then you only see the illusion of the physical reality and you forget about the reality of the spiritual realms. So very good, very important that we keep looking for the good. So let's do our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Another breath and exhale. Now continue to breathe in and out. And as you breathe in and out, feel this breath going through, moving through your body, cleansing out all the old, pushing it back out as you exhale. And with each breath, feel yourself energized, invigorated. And let's imagine ourselves looking out at the world, and as we see the world, the first thing we see is the physical reality. And we hear the chatter from the media outlets. We hear the lies of the politicians. We see the corruptions of the various organizations, as if this is one large beastly creature oppressing all of humankind. And we see this, and at first it concerns us. But then we remember that despite all of these things, that there is actually a higher truth. There is actually good taking place behind the scenes. And so we attune our vision and our hearing and our thoughts to picking up all of this goodness that is taking place. And as we tune into this physical world begins to change. We see the vibrations change. We see the illusion crumble as we begin to connect in with the positive. And we realize that there is more positive than negative. We realize that there is more good than bad. We realize that there is more love than hate. We understand that the only reason there is separation is because of the lies that try to convince us that this is the case. But once we see the truth, we can no longer go back to accepting the lies because we know the reality. So let's imagine ourselves looking at the world, seeing the love, seeing the truth, seeing the light and the positivity. And let's imagine the illusionary world just crumbling away. The lies, the distortions, the deceptions, all crumbling away. And as it crumbles away and the darkness dissipates, we see this light shining brighter. We see each and every individual feeling happier. And we feel positive because we know that we are in touch with the truth of this reality. And we understand our connection to the source. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for all the blessings. Thank you for the light of the Christ that shines through us, providing us with the opportunities to be able to be all that you have created us to be. Thank you for the blessings in our life and the opportunity to go out and shine this light into the world. To shine this light into the world. Now, let's let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of seeing all of the goodness that this world has to offer and watching the darkness dissipate in the process. Let's just keep sending out that goodness, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. All right, my friends. You know, one more thing I want to show you. Let's just check this out as well. This was the little prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel. Another thing to remember in these times. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl around this world, seeking the ruin of souls. We've got tremendous guidance around us, my friends. We're in an amazing time. We're getting to watch all of the darkness, all of the corruption be torn asunder. Because the light, the positivity cannot be withheld. It has simply been patient, allowing things to be, tolerating, hoping that there would be change. But obviously we've come to a critical point where there are many who have hardened their hearts to such a degree that they cannot see. And things need to change now in a more drastic fashion. All of this is designed and planned, and we're all moving accordingly, all with our own particular free will in this process, which why it's taking the time that it's taking. But more people are recognizing now it's time to leave behind the negativity, the old ways, and take on the positivity that is ours. Because that's who we are. We're divine beings filled with love, light, the Spirit of Christ, this divine essence of the Mother Father that flow through us. So all we have to do is be that. Be that. It's not difficult because it's who we are. That's it, my friends. Have an awesome weekend. Lots of links available. FirstContactRadio.com is where you can find those links. You can go to the Facebook page. I'm going to be updating with more stories over the course of the weekend as they come up, so keep checking that out. Join Twitter if you're not on Twitter. First Contact Now is my Twitter, where I'm tweeting out all kind of stuff, retweets, this and that. Connect with me there. And email firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. All kind of places where we can connect. But that's it for the week. Have a great weekend. I appreciate you taking the time to come and watch the show. I know you've got other things you could do throughout your day, so I appreciate that you take time out to check out what's going on here and listen to my long-winded rants. I have fun doing this, and I do it because I know that you show up, and that's a motivating factor for me. So thank you, and I'll see you next week. In the meantime, I love you. Keep loving each other, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.